we will be building a custom button. And when I say a custom button, you will understand shortly. So let's dive in. So let's create a basic button that is available from React Native so that you can understand the issue. So this is how a React Native button looks, right? So let's make on press. It should be a function. Okay, let's clear this. As you can see, when I press the button, we can see the press in the console log, in the terminal. So this is a basic button. But as you start to build real apps, you will see that this UI for the button is not enough. You will want to create custom buttons that look and behave how you want, especially the UI. You want the button to look as in the UI, right? So this is the basic stuff from React Native. And now let's create a custom button. So let's see, custom button, and let's create that. So custom button, right? So custom button, what is a custom button? In order to do that, if we go to the documentation, right? Let's say button, you see that this is a basic button, but we can create a custom one using touchable opacity or touchable without feedback. We'll be using touchable opacity. So let's do touchable opacity, yes. And then we have a text. Let's import this from React and let's update. Okay, so now we have a custom button, which of course looks like a normal button, or even worse, doesn't do much. This is the on press function, right? Now let's customize the UI, and then we customize the logic to make it our own. So first thing first, let's add a style to this opacity. Let's say background color red. Let's say padding 10, border radius 5. Let's say width 100 and height 50, right? Let's say justify center and align center. Red is too much. Let's say okay. So now we have a button like this, which already looks a little bit better than the basic one. Okay, let's do maybe 150. Okay. Now, first issue. Let me clear all of this stuff and the basic button, and only leave the button we are working on. So the main issue will be, let's say you want 3 buttons, right? But every button should have a different title, right? Now we have button hard-coded here, but we want to say this should be a login, a logout, and a pay button, right? So ideally, we want to add a prop to this custom button, in this case title, which will be a string, and say login and then have the same thing here. Right, this will be logout, and of course this will be, let's say, pay, right? So we want on this component to add a prop. This is a prop, right? And the prop should be title and should be a string. So let's do exactly that. So this component, which is a function, should accept some props. Let's say props. This is the best practice, so let's call that props. But we want to force these props to have the shape that we want, right? So this is a TypeScript stuff. So let's say we want the type props to be title string. Title is the name we specify here, right? So now this should be of type props. Now we are good. And then instead of having button here, we could say now props dot title. And now, as you can see, we have login, logout, and pay, right? And now we can have infinite number of buttons that all of them are custom, right? Because we have this prop and we can specify the title we want. So first problem solved. The second problem now is that the button will execute the same function every time. So this is executing and printing button pressed, but the other two do the same thing, right? We don't want that. We want when we press login to have the login function running, and then when we press logout to execute the logout function, and when we press pay, let's say we want to execute the pay function, right? So to do that, we add another prop. This one on press should be a function. Let's say login. Let's add this. Should be logout, and this should be pay. Okay, so let's do the same process we did for title. So on press should be a function returning void. And now, instead of saying this function here, we'll say props.onPress. And now, if we clear the console in the terminal and click login, we should see the logging function called this one. And then if we press the logout button, we should see this one, we do, and the same for the pay button. So now we have a custom button component. We can call this whatever we want. I called it custom button, but the name should be up to you. That we can pass two props, title and on press. Another usual stuff you will need to do is to do the same thing we did for title and on press, but for the background color and the text color. So let me do exactly that. BG color, let's say the string, which is black. And then we have text color, should be white. Okay, so let's add the props to the type we defined above, string and text color string. And then let's go to the background color of the button, which is line 18, and say props that background color. And then for the text color, say props that text color. not here, sorry. So this is the custom component, yes, and the text color is here. So here should have a style, and for color should be props.text color. And now all the buttons are black and the text color is white, exactly as we told, we said we want it, right? But now we have another problem, which is a preference. Let's say it's not a big problem, but I prefer not to have it like this. So it's like this. You see this prop here? When I want to access the key of this object, props, I always need to do props dot, and whatever, right? What I prefer is deconstruction, do it like this. It's more easy to read, right? And cleaner. So import all of the stuff here, right? And then say BG color or on press, and also say text color, right? And say title. It's more clean like this. The functionality is still working, but now the code is a little bit cleaner. Second part is this style here. Doing it inline with this many keys in this object, it's hard to read. So let's take this, say styles dot button, go here and say button, have it like that. Okay, background color is not, we don't have access to background color here. So one thing we can do is to extract this, go to the style for the button, create an array and add the object there. Okay, so now looks good. So now we have a custom button where we can specify the title, a function for when we press the button, a background color for the button, and the text color. As you can see, the background color is always black and the text color is always white, and we repeat ourselves for every button. So if you want to specify a default value for the background color and text color, the best way to do this is like this. First step is to make the background color optional, define here a default color. Background color should be black, as we said, and the text color should be white. Okay, and now we can delete this. Now it's more clean. The code is more cleaner. And now, of course, if you want a button to be a custom color, let's say this color, then we can do like this, and we want the text color also to be black in this case. And now you have this, right? But in this case, we don't have to specify the background color and the text color for every button and say black, 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 white, 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 and so on, right? Because if we don't specify anything for this button and this button, the default values will be used. In this case, these are black for the background color, and for the text color, default value is white. Of course, You can say something for title also, but you don't want to have a default title value, right? Like you want to force the user to enter a title and the onPress function. This is why these are not optional, but these are. That's it. See you next time. Bye.